This is Joe with Cloud First Labs, showing how to integrate Salesforce with MuleSoft RPA and to show how seamless and easy that integration is, thanks to MuleSoft Composer. To start out, you're going to have some prerequisites that you need. They're displayed here on the screen. If you need help, figuring out how to get some of these different things, you can check out some of our previous videos, which show how to move an RPA process into the production phase and how to set up a connected app for that and how to call it as an API. Those credentials are going to be important for this. We're going to configure those into Composer here. So you see here, I've got a bunch of things on the screen that I'm going to use for copy and paste as we fly through this process for this video. So I'll move this to my other screen, and here we are in Anypoint Platform. Now I'm going to jump over to Composer. I've got to sign in. It's a separate sign in for Composer. And I've got to complete my multi-factor authentication. And all right, now I'm in. So now create new flow. Create flow from scratch. We're going to do this from scratch. It's that easy. What we're going to do is when a new product is created in Salesforce, we are going to have it kick off an RPA process, and we're going to use the output from that RPA process to go back and update that newly created Salesforce product. So as a system event, we are going to create a new Salesforce system event, and I'm going to connect it to my company's Agile Quote Dev Salesforce organization. And I'm going to log in here with my Salesforce credentials. I'm going to allow, and we'll see it spin for a second, and boom, we are connected to Salesforce. So choose an event that starts the flow, new record, because remember, we want this for a new product that is created. So when we create a new product, it's going to poll every 15 seconds for newly created products. We're going to, for this illustration, we're going to get all records, any product that is created, we're going to return all the result fields. So that's all we need there as the trigger step. And now we do another step and say, hey, we want to call a MuleSoft RPA. So I'm going to set up RPA, Cloud First Labs RPA connection. This is connecting to our MuleSoft RPA instance. And instead of an API key, we want to use OAuth 2.0 client credentials. And now from my little cheat sheet over here, I'm going to grab our RPA tenant URL. I'm going to grab client ID. I'm going to grab client secret and the token URL. Okay, so that's all we need to set up this connection to the MuleSoft RPA account. Takes a few seconds and we should see that it's successfully connected. And there it is. And so now we need to select the specific RPA process that we want to call. And in our case, we want to call the get widget data from legacy inventory site RPA process. And we are going to use the response in this flow. So that's what we're saying by output. You can otherwise set it up to pull from another flow, but in our case, we're going to use it just as part of this same flow. And we're going to update one input field. We are going to select the build category. So that's an input to this RPA process. And we are going to set the RPA input, the build category, to be equal to the product name. So we're going to pass in the product name from the Salesforce product. That's going to get passed in as the build category to this RPA process. And then after that, we want to go back based on the output of this RPA process. We want to update Salesforce. We're going to use the same connection we set up earlier. We want to update a record. We want to update a product record, and we need to give it a product ID to update, and then we need to give it, what we're going to update on it. In our case, we are going to update the product description based on the output from the MuleSoft RPA. And I want to put 3 of the fields from the RPA output into this description. So I'm going to do a custom expression, which allows us to do this. I'm going to do a little copy paste action, and I'm going to fill in a few things from the data column. We can scroll down to our RPA output here, and we can use any of this. And I want to use some of the result data. So these are activity parameters from the MuleSoft RPA instance. And in our case, there were how many widgets found? All right, we're going to use this num_widgets field. It found the total price of those items to be total of list prices. And the raw data found was raw widget data. Okay, so we see we've got valid syntax. We used data from the data column here. So I'm going to apply this. Now I'm going to save this composer flow. I'm going to call it Salesforce RPA flow. Save it. And now we're going to run test. So it's waiting for the test to start. And while we wait for it to start, let's start creating the product over here in Salesforce that's going to trigger this. I'm going to name our product chair because I know that's a valid build category, so a valid input to the MuleSoft RPA process that we're calling. Okay, so this is awaiting a trigger event over here. It polls every 15 seconds. So let's go ahead and create this product. All right, the product chair was created. We're awaiting the trigger event. It polls every 15 seconds. So waiting. And at some point, it's going to change to processing because it's going to find that product that we just created. Okay, boom. So now the composer flow has triggered, and it'll take a minute or two for this flow to run and to execute that MuleSoft RPA process. So I'm going to wait here while it does that, and I'll jump back in once it has completed. Okay, we are back. The test has finished, as we see on the screen here. And we can look through here. We see the RPA execution status was success. It found 3 widgets for a total of 907. It's got some raw data. All right, so what we really care about, did it update this successfully in Salesforce? So let's look back here at our chair product that we created to kick off, to trigger this flow. Initially, it had a blank product description. So now let's refresh it. And look at that. There were 3 widgets found. The total was 907. And here is the raw data. So that is how you can seamlessly and very straightforwardly integrate Salesforce with MuleSoft RPA thanks to MuleSoft Composer. Thank you for watching, and good luck on your Salesforce, RPA, and Composer journey.